America, we gotta get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Stay with me for a moment here. I can still vividly remember watching January 6th, and I'll bet many of you can as well. I can remember sitting at home watching on my TV as the Capitol was attacked, as thousands and thousands of rioters stormed the Capitol, entered the Capitol, damaged property, broke windows, desecrated walls, damaged property. I can remember sitting in front of my television watching the People's House attacked. And I felt profoundly sad. There was a pit in my stomach that stayed there. That feeling stayed there all day as I watched our seat of government, one of our people's houses, being attacked. We call the U.S. Capitol the People's House, and I worked in that house because representatives of the people work in the Capitol, work in that house, represent the people in that house, members of the House, members of the Senate. It's why we call the U.S. Capitol the People's House, one of our people's houses in this country, because the work of the people gets done in the Capitol, in this representative democracy. And that day, January 6th, the fucking People's House was attacked. American citizens tried to overthrow an American election, and they stormed the People's House to do it. I felt profoundly sad all day as I sat there and watched on January 6th. I felt, stay with me, I felt that same pit in my stomach yesterday when the images of the other People's House, images of the demolishing of, the destruction of the White House went public yesterday. Donald Trump's demolition of the White House, tearing down the walls of the White House to build his big, ugly, gross gold ballroom. Keith, you got that image? I looked at this image. Thanks, my friend. Keep it up there for a moment. I looked at this image. That's the White House. The walls being torn down at the White House, the destruction of the White House, the demolishing of the White House. Trump and his heavy construction equipment laying waste to the other People's House. And I felt the same pit in my stomach that I felt on January 6th. We also call the White House the People's House because the president, the representative of the whole country, gets to live there. He gets to live there in the people's house. And again, do the people's business. In this country, in this representative democracy, we've got two people's houses, the U.S. Capitol and the White House. They belong to us. They belong to us. And on January 6th, Donald Trump incited an attack on the people's house. And yesterday, looking at these images, Donald Trump began attacking the other people's house. And again, keep it up, Keith. When these images first started circulating yesterday, I gotta tell you, profound sadness came over me. And I've been thinking for the last 24 hours, why so sad? Nobody was hurt. Nobody was killed. Unlike January 6th, nobody was arrested. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was killed. People were hurt. People were killed on January 6th. Property was destroyed on January 6th. People were arrested, convicted and arrested, convicted and jailed. But yet I felt the same sadness when I saw the beginning of the destruction of the other people's house yesterday. It's personal. Look, I've said this before. You can take it down, Keith. I've said this before. Donald Trump, these first 9-10 months, man, has caused enormous death and destruction in this country. Donald Trump, these first 9 to 10 months, acting like the very tyrant, the very fascist that he said he would be, utterly unaccountable, right? Trump doing things he has no authority to do, breaking rules, breaking norms, breaking laws, engaging in open corruption, ignoring the Constitution, day after day for 9 to 10 months. And I scream and I yell about it into the wind every day. I'm not alone. So many others do, right? Every day on this podcast, whenever I go on TV, the radio, you name it, whenever I write in our Substack, you name it, I yell and scream into the wind. Donald Trump does not have the authority to do that. He's not a fucking king. We don't have kings here. He's not a dictator. This is fascism. Our founders never envisioned a president to be a tyrant. They rebelled against tyranny. Day after day, Trump takes over the Justice Department. Trump uses the Justice Department to go after his political enemies. Trump silences free speech. Trump disappears brown and black people off of our streets without any due process. Trump utterly ignores the laws that Congress makes. Trump decides what congressionally mandated money he will spend or not spend. All powers that the president does not have. And yet, I looked at these images yesterday of the president on his own beginning to demolish the White House, our house. And I thought the same thing. He doesn't have the authority to do this. Trump does not have the authority on his own to restructure the White House. There's an elaborate, rigorous process that a president has to go through if he wants to engage in any structural changes to the White House. I mean, it is an elaborate process. He's got to go get a bunch of committees and commissions to review and approve any plans. The National Capital Planning Commission, the National Park Service, the Committee for the Preservation of the White House, on and on it goes. A litany of commissions and committees that need to review any changes, structural changes to the White House, because the White House isn't his. It doesn't belong to him. It doesn't belong to any one fucking president. It is a historical landmark. It's our house. President cannot on his own tear down walls, restructure, rehab that house. Got to get congressional approval, got to get congressional buy-in. The last time a president engaged in any restructuring of the White House was Harry Truman back in the late 40s. Harry Truman went through the process, got all the committees and the commissions to review and approve. Harry Truman worked with Congress to restructure the White House. What made me so profoundly sad yesterday is that this is again Trump, all on his own, ignoring all of that like a king, like a dictator, like a tyrant, and just taking a fucking bulldozer, a sledgehammer to our house without any approval. Like, it's like, again, and I know who and what Trump is. Trump doesn't give a fuck. He is humanly incapable of caring about anyone or anything but himself. I get it. Trump has absolutely zero reverence or understanding of that house. I get it. He's an idiot. He is a psychopath. Donald Trump, again, humanly incapable of caring about the history of that place, of caring about anyone but himself. I get it. I'm trying to explain why those images, put that image up again one more time, Keith, if you can, why these images yesterday of that house, walls being torn down, the White House, a partial demolition of the east wing of the White House commencing, why it hit me so. Because this is a personal, visual display of, I think, what bothers all of us right now. Thanks, Keith. You can take it down. We have a president utterly unaccountable to anyone, not to the law, not to the people. We don't have a Congress. We do not have a legislative branch. I wonder if we even have a judiciary anymore. We have a president laying waste to this country, and nobody is stopping him, and nobody can stop him. And again, the impact, the damage he has done, we may never be able to pull ourselves back from. But this image of, I guess because it's so concrete, like he's knocking down walls, he's demolishing part of the White House. It's like final. You can't get that back. Like, he shuts down USAID. He doesn't have the constitutional authority to do that. And eventually a court is going to rule. The Supreme Court will rule he did not have the authority to shut down USAID. And somehow USAID may try to limp back to its former self, right? And multiply that by 1,000, all the destructive things Trump has done. But you can never come back from this. That wall is down. The exterior of the east wing of the White House is gone. It's final. Can never get that back. A future president, when we have a Congress again, when the American people wake up, when courts rule, we may try to fix and repair and pull back and salvage a lot of the damage Trump has done. I guess this is why that image yesterday of the destruction of the White House is we can't get that back. This monster, this ignorant, horrible monster is tearing down the walls of our house. We can't magically put them back up. They're gone forever. This historic landmark, because of him and his gluttony and his ignorance, this historic landmark, I guess this is why it's so fucking sad, is forever changed. It's forever changed. And I guess this is why these images are so powerful. And I think a lot of people, a lot of Americans are responding like I am. You look at those images and it's like a punch in the gut. And it's a really profoundly sad, hopeless feeling because those walls that Trump is knocking down can't come back, won't come back. Right? Like there's a hope from all of us that all of the damage Trump has done, all of the unconstitutional damage Trump has done to this country, we can try to claw our way back to fixing a lot of it. Can't magically put those walls back up and repair what Trump's bulldozer and backhoe have done. And again, I know we live in a world where the truth doesn't matter and facts don't matter and process doesn't matter and the rules don't matter and norms don't matter and institutions don't matter and the law doesn't matter and history doesn't matter. I know we're living in that world right now, but just a reminder to everybody who still wants to cling to a world where the truth and facts matter, no president has the power or the authority to engage in structural changes of that historic landmark all by himself. There is a process, and committees and commissions need to approve of it. And Congress needs to be consulted and approve of it. Donald Trump ignored all of that. Two final thoughts. Again, no president has the authority to do this. No president should do what Trump began to do yesterday, tear down walls of the White House. It's not his house. It's our house. We let him fucking live there for 4 years. The democratic process allows him to rent out our house, our house. We own that house. You own an apartment building. Somebody's renting an apartment in your apartment building. They can't knock down walls without you. You own that apartment building. You own that house. That's what Trump did yesterday. That's what he's doing to build this fucking golden statue of a ballroom. It's our house. The U.S. Capitol is our house. The White House is our house. He does not have the power to lay waste to our house. I think this is a big deal. I think the beginning of the partial demolition of the East Wing of the White House, I think it's a really big deal. And I think these images, rightly, are going to hurt Trump. Just like I believe the images of brown and black people in Home Depot parking lots being grabbed by masked federal agents and thrown into unmasked vans, I think those images are going to hurt Trump. And man, what do I know, right? I'm just a longtime former congressman. I'm a former Republican. I've been a Democrat for 4 months. What the fuck do I know, right? What do I know? But my God, if I were running for president in 2028, my God, this would be at the top of my platform. I'm going to fucking bulldoze. I'm going to take a bulldozer to Trump's ballroom. If I were running for president in 2028, I would make bulldozing Donald Trump's big golden ballroom agenda item number one. In fact, if I were running for president in 2028, I'd announce that if elected, one of the first weekends after I'm sworn in, I'm going to invite the American people. I'm going to open up the White House and invite all the American people to bring their sledgehammers and their crowbars to the White House. And we're going to make it a community thing. We're all going to tear down Donald Trump's big, ugly, fat, golden ballroom. Here's the deal. We marched. Over 7 million people marched in this country 2 days ago, just to simply reaffirm that basic founding American principle. We don't have kings in America. This is a king. This is a fascist. This is a tyrant laying waste to our house, the people's house, without any approval. This is the stuff of fascism. This is what kings and tyrants do. So let me be very, very clear. Fuck yeah, I blame Trump for this. I blame Donald Trump for a lot of the death and destruction that he's caused in this country and around the world these past 10 months. But I blame Trump's enablers and his appeasers even more. And I was thinking about that yesterday, looking at these images. The only reason Trump is able to do this is because people have allowed him to do it. People have enabled him to do it. The only reason, as I'm looking at that image of the East Wing of the White House being fucking destroyed, the only thing I could think of is Trump. Look, this is who Trump is. Trump's an idiot. He's a psychopath. He doesn't care. I blame him, but you can only blame him to a certain point. The only reason Donald Trump is taking a bulldozer to our house is because people have let him do this. I looked at those images yesterday and I got way more fucking pissed off at Trump's enablers, at every one of his Fox News cheerleaders, at every one of his Republican cult members who get down on their knees and let him do every fucking thing he wants to do, because in a weird kind of a way, in a sick kind of a way, you can't blame Trump for thinking that he owns the White House. In a weird way, you can't blame Trump for thinking that. He's gotten away with everything his whole life. No one's ever held him accountable. He's never faced consequences. You can't blame Trump for thinking he's got the authority to bulldoze the White House when for the past, 10 years, his Republican enablers and appeasers have told him, sir, you can do whatever you want. Sir, you can turn the Justice Department into your own personal law firm. Sir, you don't need to even think about the Constitution of the United States. Sir, you have the power to enact tariffs, not Congress, as the Constitution says. Sir, you can eliminate brown and black people off of our streets without any due process. Sir, you have the authority to do whatever you want. Day after day, week after week, month after month, Trump's enablers and appeasers have trained him to think he can do anything he wants to do. He can lie at will. He can be as cruel as the devil, and it doesn't matter. How could he not think he can destroy the White House all by himself? I blame Trump and will always blame Trump for the destruction he's brought to this country and the world. But I blame his enablers more. And I will always blame his enablers more. And when I watched our house yesterday, our other people's house yesterday destroyed, immediately I got pissed off at his enablers. We'll never get these walls back. Our house, that people's house, will never now be the same because of Trump's enablers, Trump's appeasers. Cowards all. I had more I wanted to talk about this morning, but this is another one of those mornings where I don't feel like talking anymore. And I don't feel like discussing anything else. Because I'm just bothered by this. Subscribe to my Substack if you'd like. That would be greatly appreciated. Social Contract with joewalsh.substack.com. There it is. Social Contract with joewalsh.substack.com. If you want to shoot me an email, please do. The Social Contract with joewalsh@gmail.com. The Social Contract with joewalsh@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.